Yep.
Yeah, g'day guys, it's Steve Morgan, Simon Goldsmith here. We were the amateurs that just did a full live streaming tutorial that had crap audio in it.
Well, we have been in the off season for a while, so we're refining what we do.
We've taken out the cable that was giving us the troubles, and again, we'd like to take you through how you can be involved in live streaming and filming your own fishing. It seems like in the old days you had to dong a fish on there, take it to the pub, then it was take a photo on your camera and pull that out. Now it's a selfie on your phone and a video on your phone. We all like to brag about what we catch and show people and teach people how to fish. There's some great ways we can do that now, and some great tools available now. We've been getting plenty of questions about what hardware and software do we use to cover the ABT events, but two, what's the best live streaming or fishing filming camera for you? So we're going to answer that this afternoon. Simon, just take us through the full spectrum of the things that we do at ABT events and all the hardware we use to cover it.
I suppose the first thing that we started live streaming, it was a few years ago when we were live streaming weigh-ins, and since then it's evolved very quickly and and a lot has happened. Like 10 months ago, you live streamed your days on the water in the Franklin's Brim Australian Open using your phone
and the Mevo.
It was very thirsty when it came to data and power. Since then, we've refined it and found better tools and better ways to do it.
Yeah, the Mevo, of course, still lives in ABT's kit because this is what we use. This camera here, it's a little camera and it's the battery. We use this to stream all of our weigh-ins.
Yep.
It's got a nice broad angle. You can control it. It takes decent native audio in.
Yep.
But it's not the ideal tool for a boat. Well, it sort of is the ideal tool for the boat if it took better audio in, third-party audio, and if it wasn't as power-hungry. Because I remember during that Australian Open, I had phones. This phone was overheating. This was running out of power. I couldn't get enough amps out of the boat charger to keep them both up and going, which is why the coverage was a little bit up and down. Like we knocked together some pretty decent highlights packages, but any of the observers with me for the day would say, that wasn't the ideal solution. We have worked our way through the various ways of covering the events to find the best way to do it on the boat. One of the tools we use off the boat, though, is we use this, a normal, like a HD Handycam, to do a lot of our interviews at the events. Anything that needs to look pretty and we have time to produce and then upload gets done on a Canon Handycam. People ask all the time, is my GoPro the best thing for live streaming? Well, we found the GoPro probably isn't. And there's a few reasons. We found the best one happens to be from ABT sponsor Garmin. Garmin make their top-of-the-line cameras called the VIRB 30 at the moment. It's not the best for being in the boat. The next one down, their older model, this one here, it's called the VIRB XE. This is the best one we have found for live streaming and for keeping charge on a boat. And the main reason for that is that this cable here. So this is a fully waterproof case. This cable gets you power. This is the flash cable you can buy. It's called the rugged combo cable. That gives you audio in, video out, and charge in. Costs about $60 to go with your camera. When I clip this cable on and I plug that into my boat, the whole thing's still waterproof. So it can rain on it, and I can get audio in even though the camera is inside this waterproof housing. So it can be pelting rain. I can run a third-party audio. I've got a receiver and a sender lapel mics. Run one of those here, one of those there. I can get great audio. The $800 mic setup is probably not relevant to most people that want to go and do it. You can go and get this camera, put it on your boat, flick it onto record with a chip in it, and it's going to record a very wide angle and up to HD view of your day's fishing, HD being 1080 pixels. The mounting system's awesome. So it comes with this mounting system here. They can be either flat or curved. It's got a 3M based never let go material on it that we put on the boat's windscreen or on the outboard. Wherever it goes, this stuff does not let go. And in fact, it's hard to get off at the end.
We just leave them there.
Don't put it in a precious place. We'll put a mount in your boat when you're a live streamer for ABT. You keep the mount. We don't want to get it out. But we get the camera. We normally put that on the windscreen. We plug this in. We flick this over, and it will hold on there like a champion. When you put it on, you have it facing towards you when you're fishing. A couple of these GoPro compatible sideways mounts gets the angle right.
So we can get all the different angles.
Looking forward to you normally. I often run this camera as well on a 3 metre high pole in the back of the boat just to give you that real high angle and to see what the fish are doing sometimes. Sometimes the pole's suitable. In rough water it's not. Going under little bridges it's not. But having the recording with the Garmin XE can be as easy as put it in, put the chip in, flip that to on,
Yeah.
and it will record you.
Now, one thing we do is we don't just rely on the battery that we've got there. We have a USB extension, a 3-metre extension. That runs to a cigarette plug, which goes into the cigarette plug that most boats have. If they don't, we have some clips with a plug on it, and we connect that to the angler's boat battery.
We can just connect that straight to the battery.
Yeah.
It'll go all day. If you don't charge it from the boat battery, it'll last 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Same as a standard GoPro. They all use about the same amount of power. So that's one thing, and we will throw these in people's boats. If you want to buy a camera for streaming, we definitely recommend this Garmin XE because we think it's the best on the market to be point, push, record, and leave it, and it does it for the day.
Now, some of the things that we didn't like about the 30 was it came in a waterproof housing, but there was no way to plug power into it. I actually had to physically drill a hole in the side of the housing.
We plugged it up, and it was sort of a messy solution, wasn't it?
And when we bumped down the resolution, because we record in 720, I couldn't get the frame rate low enough to maximise the space on the card. We've got a 64 gig card in there, and we can get 16 and a half hours of footage at 720, 30 frames a second.
Which for me is a whole tournament. So, and what we can do with this camera as well, like it's great for filming, but it's also good for live streaming as well. And now you notice that when we do live stream coverage of event, we have a page and we have everyone who's streaming goes into an event. Now, we are live streaming this on Facebook Live at the moment. Now that's the best medium for here. We've got a good signal; it's not going to drop out, and it gets a pretty good instant audience.
Yeah.
That's not the best way to live stream fishing because when you're out on the water, you don't often have the right connectivity.
Yeah, it'll go up and it'll drop out.
And so what happens in Facebook is you start an event, I lose coverage. That event will then automatically terminate and post on your page. And if you want to start again, it starts a new event and a new video. In the Australian Open, I noticed you'd build up an audience, 50, 100, 150 people, they're all gone.
Yeah.
You start again and they all build up again.
Yeah.
So the best way to do it, it doesn't get as many hits instantly, but it's very accessible to more people, is that YouTube live event. And you can have a screen set up, and I know Brett Penfrose was doing this. He'd have all 4 YouTube windows there, watching them all simultaneously, and you can do that for the right connectivity.
And that's what we can do with YouTube. If we do it on Facebook, we can't bring all those feeds together, but with YouTube we can. We've got a specific page, and in the background of that page is the code for each of those feeds. So just like Brady did, you can sit there and you can watch all the anglers in action.
That's right. So if you're just by yourself on a day and you want to broadcast, you've got good connectivity, Facebook's probably all right because that's probably where you've got the best audience. But if you do it with ABT, you want to buy the gear, come to an event, bring your device, bring your data, we can plug you into that ABT streaming network. We can just add your YouTube code. You'll need your own YouTube channel to do it, which is free to set up. We can add you to that list of anglers that are streaming if you've got the right equipment.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about some of the hardware and some of the tricks of live streaming in, because recording's easy, you flick it on, you pull the chip out at the end of the day. Live is different. Like mentally, it's debilitating sometimes because I'm sitting there, I'm trying to talk to a non-boater, I'm trying to talk to the audience, and at the same time I'm trying to catch a fish against the best bream fishermen in Australia. It can be hard to put all together at times. But the ability for you to sit at home and watch some of the guys at Lower Catching Rim how to do it, to learn it, has been invaluable, and it's been a reason why ABT's had a real upsurge this year. So this is why we want to have this tutorial and show you how to do it. So we have our camera, it's plugged on our boat. I've got my audio plugged in. The next thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need a device. Everyone will have a mobile phone. This thing works with an Android and an iPhone version, but I've only ever used the iPhone version on it. I find don't stream on your phone. It's got all notifications coming through. It's got burdens on it that you don't want to have happen. So I take 3G iPad with a SIM card in it out on the water, and it's on a shared data plan with my phone. I use broadcasting at 360 pixels. I use half a gigabyte an hour.
Yep.
So usually during a tournament, 10 to 12 gig is about what I'll use. So it uses a fair bit of data, but it's not like 100 gig like people think. People think it's stupid amount. What you do when you get the Garmin camera, you want to download the VIRB app. So I go to the thing. The first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to follow the instructions through, and the app will take you through it. You need to connect your camera to your, and this will make its own little Wi-Fi network that yours will connect to. So we've just turned it on there, and there you go. It's picked up the camera because we've set it up earlier, and this is now, I'll show you, I can wipe my hammer there. There you go, that's all live. So this is what you see before you start live streaming. You have the option here when you hit the broadcast button to select how you want to you can record it onto a video. You can make a slow-mo video, you can do time-lapse videos, but you can broadcast. And then you can broadcast either on YouTube or Facebook here. Now, when we set up the event in YouTube, you put a title on it, like this is Steve Morgan fishing day 1 of the XYZ event. and then we set up that YouTube event. Then the ABT staff will go and they will go to your YouTube page, cut that location out, and we'll embed that on our page so that you're visible with all of the other anglers that are out there. iPad's good because one, I've kept it it's on a life-proof case here, so I can spray, get water on it, no worries. But two, I think the iPad reception is better than the phone. I'm going to try and show you this now, and they were jumping towers before, but if I go here and I look at my devices, I'll see that Steve Morgan's iPhone makes a liar of me there.
Done it again.
Yeah, it's given me 2 bars on the iPad and 3 on the iPhone. I guarantee that's because this is talking to one tower, that's talking to another. Normally I'm on the water, I can see that my iPad is giving me normally 1 bar better reception. Also, the battery life on this is heaps better.
Yeah.
These things can run out when you load them up too much. So I love, it's only an iPad mini, the cheapest iPad mini I could get is adequate processing power for all of it. When you start live streaming, you can't see this preview anymore.
No, it just goes black.
It'll go black. And if you start recording on your camera and then try to live stream, it won't let you do it. It says you can't record and live stream at the same time. Well, I'm telling you what,
There's a workaround.
There's a workaround. So you start live streaming, I go and start this live stream. If I then go and flick this physical record button to on, I flick that to record, it will record my day's fishing. Now that's awesome because what I live stream will go and live on YouTube in 360 pixels. What I record on here, I can record at say 720 or 1080 pixels.
And we can edit that
And
up.
I can just put that in my computer and I can make a really kick-ass highlights package with... And HD isn't good because you can see everything better. HD is good because if I want to zoom in on an area where the fish is biting my lure, I can do that and it doesn't look like the Lego movie.
Yep.
You know, so if my camera's up on the pole and there's a brim eating it over there, I can just select that little bit and all of a sudden it blows up and it actually looks reasonably good. So get an iPad. I have this in a ram mount at the front of my boat, so when I'm fishing, I can just cast an eye down, and it says, "Oh yeah, you're live," and you have 30 viewers or whatever it is.
It ticks through and tells you how long you've been streaming for.
Both that into the boat battery, this into the boat battery goes all day, and as Simon said, on a 64 gig chip, I can fit 16 and a half hours of fishing, i.e. whole tournament, on this device here. So the whole secret for me is get the right camera, get the one that's waterproof, windproof. Awesome news is Basscat Boats, good sponsor of ABT, Craig Simmons, is a Garmin dealer, and he knows all about what he needs to sell you, i.e. that cable, that camera, to get it up and going. The cameras are about $500, these cables are about $60. Whether you live stream or not, this will give you the tools you need to record the awesome moments of your fishing day. And we just think it was great that Garmin gave us a few cameras last year to play with. We found this awesome application for them. They've come back to the party this year. Yeah. Great ABT sponsor and a great way to set up and very unobtrusive way show other people how much you love fishing and teach people how to fish. For me, showing people how to fish and showing people how much excitement I have fishing is the exciting bit about it.
Yeah, like the highlight for me last year was the live stuff that we did, and you doing it in the open, you gave all those viewers at home and at work, of course, because we did it midweek, the experience that only non-boaters can get, and now we showcase it to everybody, and we're going to see a lot of that throughout the year.
ABT's motto has always been "Who shares wins," and it was great to have in that first event "Who shared won."
Yes,
But it's grown from there. We will live streaming at ABT events isn't limited to like the top guys. It's like, oh, you can't live stream unless you're a Chris Hickson. Rubbish. Go get the camera. Bring your device, bring your data, we will plug you into exactly the same network and give you the coverage. So if you're a savvy angler that looks after your sponsors, you like making some good social media content, you do your sponsors no disservice at all by becoming involved in ABT's live streaming. And as I say, we can put 100 codes on there, we can put one code on there. Like at the moment, guys like Jamie and Chris, and and the guys like Franco who got you on his boat last year. At the start, Franco was wasn't he a bit? I don't know.
He's like, there's other guys that would happily take you. I'm like, I'd really like to be in your boat, Graham. And at the end of the grand final, he's like, I'm so glad we did this.
That's right. I remember the Franco Strutters was coming up for the grand final win. So mate, great grand final win to you last year. It was great to see your coverage of it, Simon. Simon's coverage was done on his phone with his little rig that he's got here. You would have seen coverage of Simon's coverage on the ABT website. Hope that gives you a bit of a guide of what you need to get and what hardware and how best to get your live streaming and fishing coverage going. So until the first ABT event this year, this is some ABT staff checking out.